All right. So welcome. Hello, everyone, to our USC Code.org Info Night. So tonight I'm going to be talking about how you can receive training to teach computer science in the classroom for your middle school or high school students, and possibly, hopefully, at no cost to you or your school with a scholarship. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And for those of you who Code.org is new, Code.org is a nonprofit whose mission is to increase access to computer science for students across the country. So they're also a leader in a national leader in computer science professional development for teachers as well. And Code.org works through regional partners to help coordinate the training for teachers. And so USC Viterbi School of Engineering is the regional partner for Code.org in our area. And this partnership between Code.org and USC Viterbi is beginning its third year. And we are currently accepting a new cohort of teachers to train in the 2021-22 school year. So we're really excited to have you here and invite you to hopefully be a member of our new cohort. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Sarah Thomas. I work at USC Viterbi as a program manager for Code.org. I'm also the assistant director at the K-12 STEM Center at USC Viterbi. And I'm formerly an elementary school teacher. I've also worked in STEM programming at museums, obviously at a university, and even at a television station for a few years. And this is my contact information that's on this slide, which I will share again at the end in case you have any questions that come up that I'm not able to address during the presentation. It looks like we still have some people coming in. That's great. All right, so now I want to hear from you and what brings you here today. So if you could type into the chat, if you're on your phone, you can unmute if you would like, and just let us know what brings you here today and what do you hope to learn from this info night about Code.org. And we'll wait just a minute. And for folks who just came in, wanting you to type into the chat or unmute if you're on your phone and share with us what brings you here today. What are you hoping to learn from our Code.org info night? And welcome new teachers who just joined us. We're just waiting for a minute, listening to what people have to say about what brings you here today. If you want to share, please feel free to type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let us know what you're looking to learn today. I hear typing, so I know that somebody's typing something. There we go. All right, they're starting to come in. That's great. So wanting to know how to bring this program to high school students, learn more about the program, how long, where, and are there updates yearly? Okay, good questions. I will definitely be addressing most of those questions, and I might want to clarify a little bit more about some of them later on. All right, so feel free to continue typing, or if you want to unmute and share, that's great. Otherwise, I am going to move on and talk about our agenda. Oh, there is one more, so I'll read this. Wanting to learn about computer science principles, First year as a computer science teacher, wondering if computer science principle is going to improve my knowledge and enhance teaching skills. Would love to learn some coding and programming skills. Excellent, you are in the right place. All right, so our agenda for today, we might be here less than an hour, depending on how many questions you have. No way to know for sure. But first, we're going to hear from a current code.org educator who is our special guest who's here tonight. And then we're going to look at some facts and stats about why computer science is so important to teach to students. Third, we're going to look at the code.org professional learning programs, which is another name for what we call our teacher trainings. I'll go into some scholarship information. Then I'll share a little bit about the actual curriculum that you'll be learning how to implement and the student-facing CS Discoveries and CS Principles courses. And last, we'll end with a Q&A session where you can ask any questions. But if you do have questions during the info night, you're welcome to ask them at any time in the chat. I'll try to answer them when I see them, or I might wait and if I think that I'm going to address it later. And then, so after answering all the questions, we're going to have our raffle of 10 free code.org t-shirts. So I know people are probably looking forward to that. So that'll come at the end. All right. And now I am happy to start off our session tonight by introducing and hearing from a currently implementing code.org educator, Ms. Lorraine Torres. And Ms. Torres is a computer science, math, and I believe also science teacher. Is that right?
That is correct.
Middle school level at Montebello Unified School District. And she is the first teacher to go through our training program twice. So first at the CS Principles program and then at the CS Discoveries program. So I am so glad that you're able to join us tonight, and thank you so much for coming. If you wanted to start off by saying anything more about yourself that I missed.
Okay, one correction. I've actually been trained in your 3 programs. There's a Computer Science Fundamentals that is intended for elementary school. It's a 1-day training.
That's right.
$6, and I was also trained in that. Can you believe that? So I've received all the code.org trainings. It's been over the last 2 years, and it's been very beneficial to opening my eyes with regards to computer science education. And so now that's my focus. And for my professional students. And the reason that is because the computer science is a booming field. I mean, it has boomed and it's going to continue to grow. And what we do as educators is provide opportunities for students. Currently, for some reason, there is no current plan to teach computer science in our public schools. And so it really is a hit and miss right now. So what I like about the code.org program and their curriculum, it's a systematic curriculum that teaches principles and introductions to computer science and physical computing and many other things. But it's a ready-made free curriculum that is very easy for students to understand. It teaches them a lot of the fundamentals, and I think it's a great program. It's a good way, especially if you don't know anything or hardly anything about computer science, but you realize it's important. That was mine. That was me. And it's, I'm not as, I know more than I did before, but there is still a whole lot for me to learn, which I'm taking upon myself to learn. And so, but in any case, but it can be taught and students can learn and benefit, even though you as a teacher may not be an expert at it. So you'd be the lead learner in the classroom, which is what I am. And I'm learning alongside the students. I do the work before the students, and then I help them as they get there and they struggle. And a lot of times they're great at figuring problems out, and they enjoy the struggle. and they enjoy helping each other. So it's really good in many ways. It's a community builder, but it's also building their skills. And it's for every student. It's not just for some, it's for every student. So that's what I like about it. That's my approach to it. And I think the more computer science teachers that we have prepared, trained, and, or at least who realize the importance of this option and this opportunity for students, the better, the better. So that's why I'm doing this, to create opportunity for students.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing your perspective. I wanted to just one follow-up question, and if there's anything about the code.org tools or resources. You mentioned that you really appreciate how focused on the students they are, how focused on kind of that forward movement and that career focus, and that those foundational skills. Is there anything else about the resources that they provide that you have found useful, just kind of in your day-to-day implementation?
I think the instructional videos that go with each lesson are very useful. Those are very useful. And the program itself, the whole design of the platform, and it's block, what you could do block coding in the Express Fundamentals class, which is I'm using with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. I've used it with high school, and they were challenged by it because I taught summer school at the high school as well and used code.org. And I've compared it with other programs that are free online, which are good, they're good, but the way code.org has set up their program, I can definitely see the value of it, why it's great for as a beginning program, and how it can also be used for more advanced studies. But the resources are really good. The videos are, the quality of the video, the production quality is excellent. And it's in little short bites as far as the information goes. And it's easy to understand for anybody. So they're a great resource. And it's kind of interesting because when I've studied computer science or had my students maybe supplement with Khan Academy, I love Khan Academy. When they supplement with Khan Academy, I'll put on we'll study an area like cybersecurity or something, and guess what they use? Code.org.
That's funny.
So they use the code.org videos, and many people use their resources and their ready-made videos, and they're great. So that, and then just the program itself, in and of itself, is a wonderful resource. So I'll be using it for a long time.
Great. Thank you so much. So I think we're, just to make sure that we protect everyone's time, your time tonight, because I know you're busy, and the teachers here, I think we'll move into covering some of the basic information. But thank you so much for coming and sharing your perspective.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right. So now I'm going to back up a lot of what Ms. Torres just said about sharing some facts about why I also think it's important to teach computer science. And as with most of what we do, it's about the students. We know that technology is going to continue to be critical for future jobs, not just in coding, but in all industries, in the arts, in all fields. Learning skills like computational thinking, programming, critical thinking are going to go a long way in the future tech-infused economy. And computer science is not just about vocation or getting a career in computing anymore. It's really becoming foundational for every student. And we also know that computer science helps students practice other skills like logic, problem solving, and creativity. So here are a few stats to support those claims, those bold claims that I just mentioned. Students who study computer science, they tend to perform better in other subjects, especially math. They tend to excel at problem solving, are statistically more likely to attend college, and test better on skills such as creativity and reasoning skills. And so in California, there are many times more computing jobs that open up each month than there are computer science graduates. So there's definitely a need in California. And talking about earnings here, you can see that computer science graduates have higher lifetime earnings than even other college graduates who graduated with other degrees. And students love computer science. It's actually the subject that they report liking the most, second only to the arts. So teaching computer science is one of the most important things that we can do for our students. However, unfortunately, most schools currently don't teach computer science. And this information here, all of these stats and facts, is the background to Code.org's mission to increasing student access to computer science by training more teachers to teach computer science. So we've kind of set the field here of why computer science is important. And before I actually go into talking about the professional learning program, I just wanted to pause for a minute and see if these stats are new information for you, or if this is something that you've heard before. You can go ahead and type just like yes or no in the chat. If you want to go ahead and type any other kinds of reactions, you're welcome to do that. If you're on your phone, that's okay. You can unmute if you want to. But if this is familiar, if this is why you're here, definitely let us know that as well. All right, we see someone mentioned that, yeah, they've heard these stats before. They've heard about this need for computer science before. Okay, so we have a question as well. Is this a computer program, a set of certifications, or a credential? Do we need a credential in CS to teach it? I have a single subject credential. Okay, so these are really good questions. I've actually responded to a couple questions over email as well with these before we started, because this is a big concern for a lot of folks. So this is a professional development that is not tied to a specific credential or certification. It's a training program that will prepare you to teach for computer science in the following year. So we do provide CEU, so continuing education units, if that's something that you're interested in, but this specifically is not a credential. It's really for teachers who do not have computer science background to prepare you to be able to teach as kind of Ms. Torres mentioned, as a lead learner in the classroom, and prepare you to teach in the following year. So typically, computer science teachers, in order to teach computer science, in order for it to count towards students' graduation credits, they do ask that there are some requirements. So for example, math teachers, single subject credentialed math teachers, it's really easy for them to be able to teach computer science right away. There's also some other single subject credentials, like I think it's ITE. But that's not the only route to being able to teach this. And actually, a lot of teachers right now are, without these single subject credentials, are teaching computer science because they're using this sort of waiver or like emergency credential, or I'm using the wrong words, but it's sort of like a temporary permission to be able to teach this topic, and you would do that through your school or district. And it's actually fairly common. So your principal or your kind of ed tech head lead person at your district might already be familiar with this if you have a conversation with them about this. And if not, definitely please reach out to me with more questions, or if you hear back any information about your particular school or district. But this is definitely, it's a conversation that happens between you and your school and the district and us, and that we continue to work on together. So hopefully that helps. If you still have questions about that, maybe we can get into it a little bit more either later, or if you have some follow-up questions, we can talk about that now. And so I see someone answered my question. Most of these stats were new to me, but I've definitely seen the benefits of these skills with my students. Excellent. All right. So let's talk about the basics of the program and the requirements. And then if you have some follow-up questions about that, feel free to ask as well. So here is some basic information. So the training programs are going to be separate for middle and high school teachers. The training is in 2 parts. So there's the summer intensive, which is 5 days from June 21st to 25th this year. And then the second part, so after that an initial immersive summer program training, you will participate in these quarterly implementation workshops. So those usually take place on Saturdays during the year, and those help you with teaching in, computer science and actually implementing it in the classroom. So you'll be working with other teachers, talking about how that's going for you and learning from each other in those quarterly implementation workshops. So again, no computer science background is required for teachers in this program. That's one of the big selling points about code.org is that you are a lead learner and that students expect as you're teaching this, that you are their guide in learning computer science and you're learning it along with them. Obviously, we want to prepare you and give you the confidence to be able to teach computer science in the next year, but it really is that expectation that you're learning along with your students, and that's the way that the curriculum is written. Also, there's full scholarships available, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So I want to kind of clarify some terminology that I might mention. So these are the 2 names of the courses. So CS Discoveries is the name of the teacher training course where you learn to teach computer science at the middle school level. It's actually grades 6 through 10. And then, so CS Discoveries is also the name of the student-facing course. So basically what that means is that you're being trained to teach computer science discoveries to students in grades anywhere from 6 to 10. And then CS Principles is a course for high school level teachers who are learning to teach CS Principles or AP CS Principles course to students. And that's again for grades 9 through 12. Oh, I see a question. Do these courses come with set lessons? Yes. So code.org is notorious for providing everything that you need, including a platform for students to do their coding and to even assess students on. But on that same platform, that code.org dashboard is what it's called, there's also daily lessons. And new this last year and a half is modifications for virtual learning as well. So each lesson comes with not only what are you going to do, but also modifications for virtual learning if that's something that you're doing. And in addition to that, there are teacher forums where other people are suggesting modifications or ways to do the activity maybe differently. And assessments are also through the same code.org dashboard platform. So they're already all created for you, and you're able to manage your students through that code.org dashboard tool and look at their assessments and grade their assessments. All righty, so I'm gonna move on then, give you a little bit more information about what you will do in these training programs. So in both of these, you will explore the code.org curriculum and the learning tools, those ones that I just mentioned, with an experienced code.org trained facilitator. So the facilitator will have experience teaching this course already with students that is currently or very recently a teacher of computer science. You will also learn how to use the code.org tools, including the dashboard that I mentioned. And then you'll practice teaching the course as a lead learner, like I mentioned, that you're guiding your students rather than pretending to be an all-knowing expert. And it really ends up being fun for the students too, because they feel like they're guiding their learning. And then in the quarterly implementation workshops, you will collaborate and share your experience with other teachers about teaching the class. And that's really an important part of this cohort that we put together. So it's not just you, you and the facilitator learning about this. It's really a community, and it's a community of practice. So you get to know the other teachers in your cohort very well by the end of the summer intensive, those 5 days. And so during the implementation workshop, you know also who to go to, who's maybe also in your district, who's experiencing a similar issue, or has a student class where you're also experiencing some of the same topics or concerns. Oh, I see another question. June 21st through 25th workshop, is that online or at USC? I am 99% sure that it's going to be online. As with everything, right, things are constantly changing, but we are making all of our plans for it to be online, and including possibly the quarterly workshops as well. And then I ended up actually being really helpful for a lot of our educators here to be able to, rather than drive and park, to be able to just log on from their homes and to do those quarterly workshops on Saturdays made it a lot easier. Another question about hours. Great question. So for CSP this year, we did 8 to 3. And for CSD, CS Discoveries, this year, we did 9 to 4. So yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to, let's see, where did I leave off? Oh yes, and continuing education units. That's definitely something that you have the option to earn if you are interested in. And so there's always a lot of, as you can see with the questions in the chat right now, there's always a lot of questions that have to do with not only the program, but I'm gonna go here in a second, the requirements for the program as well. So definitely feel free to keep the questions coming, or if you wanna follow up with me over email with a more specific question, that's fine as well. All right, so for these requirements for the program, these are based off of our experience of what's been most effective for past cohort members. So first, in order to participate in the program, we do ask that you make a commitment to participate in all 5 summer training days and the quarterly implementation workshops. We find that you feel a lot more confident if you're able to do that. So that's something that we want you to be able to make a commitment in the beginning. Also, we know that school schedules, as I mentioned, can be really unpredictable right now. So rather than asking you to promise that you're going to teach computer science in the following year, we just want to know that you intend to teach computer science in the 2021 or 22 school year. So basically the year after that you apply. And this is because we find that teachers who are not actually implementing in the following year, that the training is a lot less effective for their learning, and that being a part of the community of practice, it's harder to absorb that same information that you are as when you're implementing the course. So that's really something that we ask, although we know that you're not in control of your school schedule if a class changes. Also, in the spirit of Code.org's mission to increase computer science access to students, we also ask that the course expand your school's CS offering and does not replace a similar course, but is providing more or new opportunities for students to participate in computer science. And last, the application has 2 parts. So after you submit the application, another form actually will be automatically sent to your principal because you'll include your principal information in there. So letting you know that there's going to be a follow-up form that goes to your principal just to make sure that the school intends to add computer science and that they are also on board, that your administration is also on board with this. So that's a component of the application. And then, as I mentioned, lots of specific questions that come up with this. So feel free to send them my way or in the chat or email me. Let's see. I see a question. I think I might need a follow-up, so I'll maybe email you with this, just to make sure I understand your question about deciding to teach computer science based at your school. So I think I'll contact you with a little bit more information about that. Okay, so we talked about requirements for the program. So let's talk about requirements for scholarships. So in addition to, well, actually, what I want to start by saying is that scholarships are really critical to the code.org mission of increasing CS access. So it's an important part of what we do. We definitely want to provide teachers with this opportunity. And because this is so centered around increasing CS access for students, the requirements for the scholarship are school and student based. So your school will need to meet one of two requirements. So either a majority of your school students come from underrepresented racial and ethnic backgrounds and STEM fields, or are eligible for free and reduced meals. So that's a majority, so over 50% of either of those. It doesn't have to be and, it can be either or, which is information that we will collect from your school's principal when that secondary form goes out. And then for teachers that don't qualify for the full scholarship, there's also a half scholarship rate that we ask for of $1,500 that covers training for the entire program. And that's a fee that we ask for schools and districts to fund as an investment in education, and very, very rarely does that come from teachers. We definitely don't encourage that. That would be something that your school or district would be paying. And then I also want to mention that, you know, if you're really serious about teaching computer science next year and you don't quite meet one of these scholarship requirements, and you know that your school is not going to be able to fund that half scholarship rate, please let us know, and we still want to talk with you and try to figure out how we might be able to help you in that situation. So definitely continue to talk with us and let us know if you have concerns about that. All right, I just want to pause really quick, see if there's any questions before I go into talking about the courses themselves and the course curriculums. All right. Doesn't look like there's any questions, but as always, feel free to type in the chat. Oh, here we do have a question. Where is the application located? I will be sharing the link in just a minute. All right. So I'm going to go into just quickly talking about these curriculums so you have a better sense of what actually you'll be teaching. All right. So first, we're going to start off with just a quick video clip to look a little bit more at computer science discoveries. Please let me know in the chat if you can't hear the sound. Otherwise, I don't know if you can't hear it. So please let me know in the chat if you can't hear it.
Computer science has disrupted entire industries. It's changed the way we think, it's changed the way we communicate, it's changed the way we work. And that's the opportunity to change the way we teach. And having even a little bit of grounding in computer science can help you think about the world differently.
And getting past that initial fear of what computer science is what's going to change the whole field of computer science.
Computer Science Discoveries is a year-long computer science course that covers hardware and how computers work. It covers some web development, how websites get made, published, these programming with video games. We talk about.
All right, I'm pausing because there seems to be an issue with the volume, so I've turned it up. And I think it's up on here all the way. Was that an issue for everyone? It seems like it was very low. All right, should I don't think there's anything else I can do on my end, but I can put the closed captioning on. Does that help? Yeah, okay, let's try that.
Yeah, that would help. That would help.
Okay, good.
Computer science has disrupted entire industries. It's changed the way we think. It's changed the way we communicate. It's changed the way we work. And that's the opportunity to change the way we teach. Having even a little bit of grounding in computer science can help you think about the world differently.
And getting past that initial fear of what computer science is what's going to change the whole field of computer science.
Computer science discoveries is a year-long computer science course that covers hardware and how computers work. It covers some web development, how websites get made, how they're published, these programming with video games. We talk about socially impactful areas of computer science.
Well, it's fun because a lot of times you get to collaborate with other people. You also get to experience some of other people's ideas. You can like do a lot of creativity stuff because you're a creative person. You might like it too.
And it always helps you with your life, no matter what you're doing. Computer science is really good.
All right, I'm going to end it on that awesome note. I love that. So a little bit about the CS Discoveries curriculum that I'll just add to that video. Also, I want to say that I'll be sharing these slides afterwards. So you're welcome to go back and watch the video where you can hear it a little bit better. I think I might skip the CS Principles video. So you're also welcome to go and watch that when you have access to the volume, since that's not working right now. So I just wanted to say also CS Discoveries kind of underline that it's a very engaging curriculum. It's full of opportunities to create these authentic artifacts, so like websites, apps, and games. And students also explore the Adafruit Circuit Playground. So that's that image on the far left. And that's a really cool physical computing tool for them to do physical computing and hardware with their hands, which is really neat. There's also videos, like Ms. Torres mentioned, for students to watch and be inspired by actual computer science projects happening around the world. And so a little bit more about just the implementation of it. It can be taught as either a semester course or a year-long course. And the course, it actually covers, so including the Adafruit Circuit Playground, physical computing I talked about. It also covers HTML and CSS coding languages, data, and other topics like programming. All right, so I'm just going to pause before I go into CS Principles to see if there's any questions and check the chat. And it looks like we are ready to move forward. So again, CS Principles is for grades 9 through 12. So this is our high school students. And I'm going to skip this wonderful video. Feel free to watch it later. I'm going to be repeating most of the information anyways, but it has it with more upbeat music. So feel free to watch that later. Oops. There we go. All right, so Computer Science Principles is a higher level introductory science course. So we recommend that it be taught as a year-long course because it is because of the more advanced nature of the course. And it can also be taught as either AP or a non-AP course. So that's something that's important, and I'll be talking about in just a little bit as well. So it's rigorous, engaging, and approachable for students. And the course covers topics such as programming, algorithms, the internet, and more. And so one of the languages you'll be using is JavaScript in this one. All right, and just some quick facts about Computer Science Principles, the AP Computer Science Principles. So students who take AP Computer Science Principles, 12% more likely to enroll in college, and score better on math exams, so AP Calculus. So kind of backing up those earlier statistics I mentioned before, specifically talking about AP Computer Science. I'm going to skip over that. All right, So that really kind of wraps up what I was planning on talking about. So definitely open to answering questions. First, I wanted to let you know what the next step is and provide that application link that somebody asked for earlier. So the next step I would say is to visit our website, which is also another link I can provide at the end. And then to ask any questions if you've got follow-up questions. And then, so if you decide that you would like to be a part of the code.org cohort, please apply using this link. You can also apply on our website. So there's a little button that says apply here. And so just letting you know about this application, when you visit the site, there's a little box for you to enter your zip code. Please enter the zip code of your school rather than where you live, because you might actually live in a region that's different than where your school would be paired with. So please enter the zip code of your school, and then you'll be paired with us, USC Viterbi, as your code.org regional partner for us to be implementing your training. So also the May 1st deadline, I forgot to mention that. So that's when our deadline is, May 1st. So please apply before that date, especially if you're interested in a scholarship. The scholarships, unfortunately, are a limited number of them. We still have scholarships right now, so that's fine right now. But as we get closer to May 1st, and then if you happen to apply after May 1st and we're still able to fit you in, there are a limited number of scholarships by that point. So just wanting to let you know, in case you're thinking about, in case you're waiting to apply, that you might want to apply earlier. All right, so I'm going to pause for any more questions that I can hopefully answer. You're welcome to unmute or type them in the chat. So we have a question about teaching the higher course, the CS Principles course, in addition to CS Discoveries. As I mentioned with Ms. Torres, that is unusual, but it has been done before. So it would just be an individual case of what your plans are with implementing both of those courses and talking with your school and making sure that your school is on board. So it's a case by case. It's not typical. It's not usually the route that teachers go, but it's been done before. Awesome. You're welcome. All right, any other questions?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
I filled out the application already, and I know my principal responded to whatever you sent him today. Is there anything else that I need to do? Because the school that I teach at, the African Americans and the Hispanics, you know, are underrepresented in the coding field, and all of our students are eligible for free and reduced lunch.
Yeah, so moving forward, probably all that would need to happen is I'll need to read your application, right? Okay. And I tend to ask a few questions, just some clarifying questions about the course that you'll be adding next year. But if your application is really thorough, then the next step would just be for me to reach out to you and your school, let you know I've received your application, that it looks good, and moving on to the next step. So we are accepting applications on a rolling basis. So you might receive that scholarship and receive that that place in the cohort, you know, before May 1st.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking, because I was reassigned this school year and I was given, you know, the computer science class to teach, and I've really been struggling. So I'm not waiting for the district to offer professional development. I'm trying to figure it out on my own because I really need to help you know, I don't like shortchanging my students. And I think if I was better prepared, I could do a better job.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about going to the classroom with some confidence, right? Absolutely. Even if we're talking about, right, being like a lead learner and learning with your students, there's one point at which you want to know a little bit more and have that experience. So I absolutely understand. And yeah, that sounds like a great reason to want to participate in the program. Absolutely.
Right. Because I don't know how to code, but some of my students do.
Yeah, I
So,
found that as well. Yeah.
yeah, so, you know, it's just a couple of things, you know, that I really need to learn, you know, so that I can assist those that are really struggling. Because I have some students, when the hour of code came, I did use the resources on your site, and I let them pick whatever activity they wanted to do. The students that already knew how to code, they were all for it. And then the other ones that didn't, they were kind of hesitant.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of had to push them. And I said to myself, please don't ask me to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, some of those hour of code activities are student driven.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of the curriculum is actually kind of created to be student driven so that they feel like they're asking the questions and they're making the discoveries and they're, you know, creating things, which is one of my favorite parts of it. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely having that experience and that practice. And that summer intensive is a lot of it is practicing just how might you lead this lesson. So you would go into a breakout room and you might role play a lesson, and one of you is a student, one of you is a teacher, so that you feel more confident the next year in doing that.
Okay, and my last question is, are there any resources that a teacher outside of the cohort could access? Because like I said, I'm really struggling and I have to survive until June the 11th.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So we do have so resources I would recommend are, of course, you're already checking out the code.org Express or Fundamentals. It sounds like those are the hour of code kind of ones that they typically lead to, and those are the student-driven ones. So also the code.org curriculum, I will say, it's all completely free and online. So this training is really to give you that experience of getting comfortable with it and talking with the facilitators, learning from your cohort, but the curriculum is all online. So it's all there. You just Google it. You'll find it on the code.org website. I'll also include links to the curriculum in this PowerPoint when I send it out so that you'll be able to find it there. It's just a little overwhelming if you're just looking at it for the first time, right? But you might be able to find something in there, find one of those lessons in there that might work for you. Also, I want to mention that USC is having a robotics education week. That's going to be April, let me just double check so I'm not telling you the wrong dates. April 5th through the 9th. So that's not next week, but the following week. And so if you go on the USC Viterbi Robotics Education Week, I can put that link in the chat in just a minute.
Okay.
You can register your class to learn about robotics or coding from, you know, we've got all kinds of speakers. We've got USC students who are computer science students. We've got other teachers who are leading courses. We've got all kinds of things for your students to participate in. So that might be a resource as well.
Okay, and also we have a robotics teacher, so I will share this information with him.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, this is our spring break.
Oh no, okay.
Yes.
Definitely
So,
have
you know,
to,
some of the students, you know, we may be able to get a few, so I'll see.
yeah. Hopefully we'll have enough recordings that that they might be able to check it out later if it's something they're really interested in. I know we're doing one on robotics and movies that they might want to check out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Robotics and movies.
All right. And did you have any other questions that I could help with, or I guess anyone else as well? You're welcome to ask. All right, and if not, then as I said, you're welcome to email me. But regarding our raffle, we have fewer than 10 teachers here. So everybody gets a free t-shirt. I'm so happy to be able to say that. Everybody gets a free t-shirt. Okay, and I did promise that Robotics Education Week. So let me pull that up for you. And here we are, I'm putting it in the chat. So all of these events are free, but some of them are capped. So you're gonna want to, if there's something you're really interested in, you're gonna want to jump on that and make sure that you make that reservation. And on the site, they're actually broken up not only by day, but also by age group, target age group for students as well. So you just look at the bottom of the page, you'll be able to see that. All right. And if there's no other questions, I'll be following up with everyone who was here today, making sure that I know your t-shirt size. And then also that I can send you this PowerPoint, send you the links, like I mentioned, the curriculum, the application link again, and all of that. But that's it. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you coming and learning more about code.org. You're welcome to email me with any questions, and I hope that I see your application. Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome.